So our top 5 horror directors. This was a fun one to go through. This was a lot of fun, and I'm sure there's no mystery about. Well, I no, but I'm sure Brett's probably on the same page as me, and I would assume Big Joe. But this was a lot of fun to do. So we'll go back. We'll start with our number 5. I just turn my notes to my number 5, and I'll be happy to go. So my number 5. Now there's a lot of horror directors, and I went through them, and this was the first. My top 2 were easy, but the other ones were harder than I thought when I went back and really did some research. So my number 5, I whittled it down to David Cronenberg. For the simple fact that as a kid, I loved Scanners, Videodrome, The Dead Zone, and my God, what did he do with the fucking Fly? And even other movies that are they're known amongst the horror community, but maybe not known, like The Brood, Rabid, Shivers, all those stuff he did.
Yep.
But if you haven't seen any David Cronenberg movies, come on.
And now his son's directing too now, right? Correct?
I think so. Yep. So that is my number 5, David Cronenberg.
You want to go clockwise? You want me to go, Joe?
Yeah.
Sure, buddy.
Yeah. Do it.
Okay, number 5 we briefly talked about, and I hope it's sounding like he's going to come back to horror, is Peter Jackson. He's famous for Lord of the Rings, man, but Dead Alive is a blood-splattering horror legendary film. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Bad Taste.
Oh, which one? Okay. We're talking about the
McFarlanes.
Yeah. The McFarlane one's coming out. Yep.
But Peter Jackson, and it sounds like he's waiting for the right time to come. But that New Zealand horror, there's a lot to it, and I gotta go back and see some of the other stuff that's done in New Zealand. He also did Meet the Feebles, which is a bizarre movie, but
oh yeah, very nice.
But yeah, Peter Jackson, number 5.
There you go.
Very nice, man. So when it came to my top 5 horror movies, from my personal top 5. I kind of, there's different criteria you can rate them at, quantity over quality or vice versa, whatever it is. But my number 5, I had to go, and you guys would appreciate this choice, Mr. Steve Miner.
Yes. Nice.
Friday the 13th, part 2 and 3. House, Warlock. I love that franchise. Halloween H2O, Lake Placid. And we were talking about the whole creature feature thing. So I love watching that. So Steve Miner, man, he's got some pretty good meat on that bone, man.
That was a great call.
He's done a Halloween and a Friday the 13th film.
He's done one of each. And that was one of the ones on my short list that I was close to putting out as my number 5. It was between him, Cronenberg, and Lucio Fulci.
Yeah, because of House. I love House.
House was the big thing. I mean, as much as I love Friday the 13th, H2O, but House was right at the top of that list.
So much fun.
Yes.
Super good.
Very cool. I'm glad somebody threw that out there. Cool. So let me flip my page back. Remember who I put here for my number 4. The amazing. I mean, granted, he didn't do a ton of horror movies, but some of them were psychological and a little bit out there. But the late great Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Oh,
simply for The Shining. Oh God, one of my favorites, and A Clockwork Orange. Fantastic. Then he did one of the most amazing visual movies ever, 2001, Space Odyssey.
Full Metal Jacket's one of my faves.
Full Metal Jacket. Yes, I mean, come on. How could you not love Full Metal Jacket? And as much as it got a lot of shit for the time, but I didn't think it was as bad as people gave it credit for, but Eyes Wide Shut, I enjoyed it.
Oh, that's a great movie. Tom
Cruise
was
a fun watch. Yeah, I mean, everybody expected this amazing film because it was the husband and wife at the time, but it's like, guys, it's a Stanley Kubrick movie. What did you expect?
Was that his last film?
You weren't getting Days of Thunder. Sorry. That was his last film. Yes.
Yeah.
That was his last film, but the late great Stanley Kubrick.
Good choice, man.
Number 4, I think, is probably why we're here. Most people got inspired by him, was the great Alfred Hitchcock.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a tough one to leave off too.
Psycho. I don't get me wrong; they're not some of my favorite movies, but I look at it as who paved the way, and he's obviously one of the guys that paved the way for everything he did, especially with Psycho. Good Lord! But North by Northwest, there's a lot of films that he's done. The list is endless for him. What is it?
You can't, you have him in any kind of top list. He has to be there.
He has to be. I know he was bizarre. His show was good too. I really
Mhm.
liked Alfred Hitchcock Presents. That was like it was kind of Twilight Zone-ish in spots.
Well, I used to watch it a lot because at Nick at Night it used to be on Nick at Night all the time. So I used to watch Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Yeah,
Super badass.
they were more
Hitchcock.
whodunits. They weren't like Twilight Zones, but they were more whodunits.
Yeah,
than anything.
Right.
But they were still great. It's great to watch. Great.
super good.
What you got, Big Joe?
All right, number 4. You guys, no shocker here, the one and only Toby Hooper.
God rest his soul.
I mean, golly, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Poltergeist, which is, I mean, I love that movie. I personally love Eaten Alive. Have you guys seen Eaten Alive?
Oh, long time ago.
Long time ago. And last but certainly not least, we're talking about creature features. Crocodile, man. I love watching Crocodile. Have y'all seen Crocodile?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah,
Is
y'all,
it
y'all check
alligator?
that out.
Or...
Yeah, y'all check it out. Y'all check out Crocodile. It's
Check it
from from 2000, if I'm not mistaken. 2000. You guys would like that. But I mean, yeah,
great.
his
Great
work
stuff.
speaks for itself. Texas Chainsaw Massacre from '74 it paved the way for all these slasher films and all that to come. So
It basically created the Grindhouse horror movie.
For sure.
Easily.
It was just
Cool.
amazing.
And my number 3, one of my favorites, and you guys know my love for this movie, the late great George Romero.
Oh yeah.
Something tells me our next 3 are the same, Pat.
I'm thinking they are.
Pretty much.
They probably are. I mean, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Creep Show. Oh God, fucking Creep Show. The Dark Half, Monkey Shines. I mean, come on. The list goes on and on. The guy was brilliant. Basically, I mean, granted, Lucio Fulci, he did his zombie movie, which was more of a giallo type film.
Yeah.
But sorry, Night of the Living Dead still in my top 10 movies of all time. I love that movie and everything he's done. Well, he did, because he's since passed. George Romero.
Yeah, right there with you. Number 3 was George Romero. Original Night of the Living Dead. I love the original Dawn of the Dead. The movie was. I love the idea of the movie being super long and then being in a shopping mall. I just thought it was so damn cool. And when I went to Steel City Con last year to go to that mall, even though a lot of it has changed since then, it's so cool. They got like a whole memorial and everything for George Romero there, and it's.
And I hate that every time Steel City Con comes up. I can't go. There's always, for years, I've not been able to make it out there. One of these days, I got to get out there.
That's about what, 6 hours for you or 5 hours?
Pittsburgh is about a 5.5 hour drive.
Yeah, 5.5 hours.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, because I went out to Pittsburgh 3 or 4 years ago. I took Terrence to a concert. Took him to see Dead Kennedys.
It's about a 7-hour
awesome.
drive. I'd probably go to it again too somewhere down the road.
Took my son to see the Dead Kennedys and TSOL, the True Sounds of Liberty.
Good dad.
My son, he loves punk rock music just like Dad. So I said, "You want to go see the Dead Kennedys?" He's like, "Where's it?" Pittsburgh. I said, as long as he was a junior in high school. So as long as Mom lets me take you out of school for the day, I'll book a room. We'll go out, see the show, have dinner, and come home the next day. So great show.
I want to be your kid. The fuck, that's amazing. Fuck yeah.
I had him and I one of these days I'll bring video on here. I got video of him. We're right at the front of the stage and we're sitting there singing California Upper Alleys with Skip Skipperson, the lead singer of the Dead Kennedys, just sitting there with the mic, putting it to Terrence's mouth and he's singing it. It's awesome. I have to find the video. Good shit.
That's fucking amazing, dude. God, I'm jealous.
And so you're number 3, Joe.
I mean, come on. I mean, we all share the same kind of likeness. Mr. George A. Romero, man.
Clean sweep at number 3.
Clean sweep, man.
Clean sweep. Orange Whip.
List of films, you know it. Night of the Living Dead, the OG, The Crazies, Dawn of the Dead, Creep Show, Day of the Dead, Monkey Shines, and last but not least, Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead's underrated.
Super underrated.
One of my favorite things ever. Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, golly, a lot of movies that have been made out past his stuff is they take from him, and his work inspires, current and future, horror filmmakers. Man, his work is eternal. His work is amazing. So number 3, George Romero. The
And
man.
aside from the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's the other man that put Pittsburgh on the map.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, man.
Very cool.
That's why I love making these lists. Golly, lets you think back on all the good movies.
I could probably say, or number 2 is all going to be the same because he hasn't appeared yet, and he was already brought up. My number 2, the late great Wes Craven. I mean, where can you? I mean, from Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes, the Scream franchise, Nightmare on Elm Street,
Serpent and Rainbow,
and Rainbow,
the People Under the Stairs, People Under the Stairs,
Shocker. Where could you possibly go? The only other person that has a resume as great as that is probably all of our number 1s, but we'll get there.
Number 1, yeah.
But Wes Craven, brilliant.
Was that yours too, Joe? Number?
Yep,
2?
that was my number 2.
3 orange whips.
Man, this is sounding like 3-3-3. Three's Company here. We're set.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, what's to be said about it? I mean, come on, it's unbelievable.
He died so young too.
Too young.
It was so unexpected.
Yeah, too young. Yeah, excuse me. So obviously, Brett's number 2. Joe's number 2. Wes Craven, right?
Wes Craven, yeah.
And so I'll shoot the load. And my number 1, I'm assuming is. I'm assuming it's your guys as well. The one and only, the GOAT, John Carpenter.
The GOAT,
Jack Shoulder. I'm sorry.
Come on. Where do we even go from here? I mean, come on.
I mean, you can just list off Halloween, The Thing, Vampires, The Fog, Prince of Darkness, Christine. I mean, those are just my personal favorites.
Mouth of Madness.
Yeah.
Escape from New York, Escape from L.A., Memoirs of an Invisible Man. Just where do you go exactly?
We'll just throw the word out there too, even though it's.
We can throw the word out there. It is what it is.
Yeah. 25.
Yeah. Ghost of Mars.
They live. Yeah. They live. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Ghost of Mars.
The man. It would be nice for him to come out and do one more ass-kicking fucking horror film.
Uno mas.
And ride out off into the sunset.
One more.
Because who is? I just saw rumblings of who Spielberg's talking about coming and doing a horror movie. Am I correct?
Yeah, he's trying to find the right piece.
Yeah, let's lobby to have John Carpenter come out and do a really kick-ass horror movie to ride off into the sunset. And that's all of our number 1s. It's a clean sweep.
Yeah.
I'll
probably star in that movie, by the way.
Speaking of Carpenter, you guys ever seen this before? This is the Mondo Visual Cultural Awakening they made. They live here. It's so cool.
That's freaking badass.
Look at that book. Actually, just on the whole.
Oh, that's awesome as hell. I never saw that.
Yeah, it's not cheap now. They did it for a screening right before COVID, but then Mondo released
Alien.
More.
That's awesome.
They live. Oh, check this out.
Oh, they made one of those. Oh my God!
I did not know that. Did not know that.
Hey, it just ties in perfectly, guys. That's the beautiful thing about collecting.
It really ties the room together.
Ties it all
brings the whole together.
That's right. Super cool.
Oh, that's another good Carpenter film, Starman with Jeff Bridges.
And this is
Starman wasn't that bad. It gets shit on
movie.
It's not so bad. It's I always liked God, who was the girl? The girl that was in it. Is it Karen Allen?
Karen Allen, yeah.
Yeah, I loved her in
Raiders of the Lost
National Lampoon. She was in National Lampoons.
That's right.
Animal House, right?
And she was in Animal House, and she was Animal House, and she was in
Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah. Whatever happened to her? Did she drop off? She dropped off the planet.
Well, she did the last Indiana Jones film, not the new one they're doing, but the stupid ass alien film. I'm gonna go hide in the refrigerator. Fuck this.
And that is our top 5 horror directors.
Whoa.
Thanks for watching our latest top 5 from an episode of That Horror Movie Podcast. We do That Horror Movie Podcast every Sunday night live at 8 p.m. on this channel. And every week we feature a top 5 that we all do together and share live with everybody in the chat. So if you have any ideas, by all means, drop them in the comments below. Like this video, helps everybody find this channel. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel, and we will see you on Sunday nights.